All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kamal, and welcome to the today's session on last annuity product that we wanted to cover, and that is index variable annuity. So far we have covered three different annuities: fixed annuity, where we are getting the guaranteed rate of return. In FIA, we are getting the return that will be based on the index, and you are going to get the full principal protection, which means zero downside risk. In a variable annuity, there is complete risk up and down. Basically, you are getting the upside potential based on the return from the equity, money market, bonds, etc., and the values can go down as well. To protect that, you can get the riders in the form of GMBs, guaranteed minimum benefits, such as death benefit, income benefit, withdrawal benefit, life withdrawal benefit, accumulation benefit. Now today we will discuss about the index variable annuity. This is technically the hybrid version of both FIA and VA. So what happened, that variable annuity product was technically a little bit expensive. So there was a demand from the customers that they want the exposure to the equity market, but they are looking for some more return, because even in this FIA there is a capping, right? So how is there any type of product that can comes in? And now recently, in basically in this specific year or in a couple of years, we are observing that the IVA product is growing a lot. So let's try to understand what is this index variable annuity. And this product is also known as RILA. So you will find this word a lot of time, RILA, which means registered index linked annuity. We also call it the buffered annuities. We also call it the structured annuities. Recently became popular as an alternative to the variable annuity and fixed index annuity. It is going to provide you with the higher upside potential and the minor downside protection, which means, like, if you remember, in case of FIA, we are saying that you are going to get the full downside protection, but here there is a minor downside protection. It means that the returns can go negative, but then it depends. When I say it depends, we will understand it using the third point. So we are saying that there is a minor downside protection. So it can be based on the two different type of strategies that we have, that is buffer and floor. In case of a buffer strategy, some of the downside is first absorbed by the insurance company, and then policyholder will suffer loss beyond that point. For example, okay, for example, we are saying that so we are talking about the buffer over here, right? So let's say the return by the index is 4%. Okay, so you are going to get the 4% accretion in your uh, account value. If the return is minus 1%, then don't worry, there is a buffer, which means that the insurance company will bear that loss. So the interest accretion will be zero. Obviously, in your case, the point is that your account value is not going to be negative. Let's say we are saying that the buffer will be at the rate 5%. So if the return is up to minus 5%, you don't have to worry, because the insurance company is going to bear that loss for you. No impact on your account value. But if the return is, let's say, minus 6%, then it will be minus 1% in your case, because the insurance company is going to give you the buffer, gives you the protection up to minus 5%. But beyond that, the policyholder has to bear the loss. That is what we are trying to say over here, that the sum of the downside, that is up to 5% in our example, is first absorbed by the insurer, and then beyond that point, policyholder is going to suffer the loss. And then make the situation completely opposite, that is the floor, where some of the downside is first absorbed by the policyholder, and then the policyholder, some of the downside is first absorbed by the policyholder, and then the insurer will bear the loss beyond that point. For example, let's take the same example. Just take the same example. This is the return of index, right? This is the buffer at the rate 5%. Now let's take a look at lower at the rate same 5%. So in case of a floor, 4% over here is 4%. Now over here the return is -1. So the policyholder will suffer -1%. Over here it is -5. So policyholder will suffer -5. Over here it is -6. So don't worry. The maximum loss that the policyholder will bear is up to -5%. Beyond that will be suffered by the insurer. Right? That is what we are trying to say. Let's see what it is. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the expense charges, as I said, like variable annuity is pretty much expensive, but the IVA, or we call it RILA, this product is having a lower expenses or charges as compared to VA. And as we said, the returns are here again will be based on the specific index or a more indexes. Okay, so this example, like buffer at the rate of 3%. So if the return is -1, don't worry, up to -3%, the policyholder is protected. But beyond that point, he has to suffer the loss. But the situation is completely opposite in case of a floor, where the policyholder will bear the losses up to a -3%, and beyond that will be suffered by the insurer. So basically -3% will be the maximum downside that can go in case of a floor category. Okay, so this is about the IVA product, or we call it the RILA. Okay, so with this we have covered all four type of annuities, that is fixed annuity, fixed index annuity, variable annuity, and the index variable annuity. Now if I ask you, let's try to make some kind of comparison. Okay, so in terms of risks and return, I want you to know, so variable annuity is very risky, but it also has the potential for higher return as well. Then after that, IVA is a little bit risky because there is a because the policyholder can suffer losses, right? Their account value can go negative. That then there comes the IVA, less risky as compared to VA, and then less return as compared to VA. Then there comes FIA, right? And then there comes FA. So these are the four categories, you can say. That is how we can make this product. So again, if the policyholder wants to be pretty much aggressive, he can go with the VA. And if the policyholder does not want to take any kind of risk, he will go with the FA. Want little bit of risk but exposure to the market, he will go with the FIA. And he wants a good, and if he is comfortable with the account value that can go a little bit negative but wants an exposure to the markets, equity markets, he can go with the IVA. Okay, so that is what it is all about that I wanted to cover in case of the annuities. All right, so I hope that you all enjoyed this session. You can subscribe to my other different courses, that is Python for Actuaries and SQL for Actuaries. Pretty much amazing. You can learn a lot of things with a lot of different case studies covering the stochastic simulations, investment management, and all these object-oriented programming, cash flow modeling, sensitivity testing, and so on. Okay, with this, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.